Hello guys, so it's been a while since I have done a video from the computer, the laptop. Uh, and you're probably hating it because the quality is not very good. So I don't particularly have the best quality. But I just wanted to make this video this morning, and this is something I'm going to start doing moving forward. Uh, when I'm reading these books that I'm reading, call them self-improvement books, call them educational books, call them inspirational books. Some of the quotes that I'm getting from these books and some of the lessons that I'm learning are too good to not share, and I wish that I was original and I could come up with this stuff myself. But what is way more important, to be honest, is sharing this stuff with you guys and hoping it benefits somebody out there, because what ceases to amaze me a lot of the time is there are people in the world that we never meet and that will never meet us and will never know who we are, who massively help us. And if I can help you a little bit by even directing you towards some of these authors, then I feel like I've done, I feel like I've done God's service. I think we need to serve other people, and I think this is one of the best ways that I can do it. Currently, I'm sure I'll find better ways to serve people more effectively, but I feel like this is something I can do for now. So, without further ado, I just want to read some quotes from this book, and hopefully it can benefit someone. And the book is called "The Obstacle is the Way." On my screen, I'm seeing that back to front. I hope that's not the way it's coming across on the screen. Maybe I'm a bit of a dummy right now. But yeah, The Obstacle is the Way. The Ancient Art of Turning Adversity into Advantage by Ryan Holiday. Great book. And I just want to start with a quote by Friedrich Nietzsche, which is, "My formula for greatness in a human being is Amor Fati," which is I think it's a Greek or Latin saying, which means to love fate. That one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity, not merely bear what is necessary, still less conceal it, but love it. In other words, love what happens to you. And I don't mean if you go out and do something stupid, or you keep doing something that you don't want to be doing. You keep giving in to things, your lower self, not your higher self. I don't mean that. I mean, when things outside of your control happen to you, love that. Just accept it. Love it, and immediately, because as soon as you love it, you're programming your brain. This is what I think. Maybe I'm incorrect. I'm open to the fact that I could be wrong here. But I feel like the reason why they're saying love it is because you almost program in your mind to essentially take a lesson from it and take a positive from it. Whereas if you hate something, you close your mind off. Hate is this. Love is this. Love is opening up. Hate is closing off. So I feel like if you hate something or someone, you close yourself off to that something and that someone. If you love something, you open yourself up to it. You're open, you're not closed. So I'm going to read a few more things, and hopefully, if someone watches this, if you're going through a hard time, maybe this can help. Or maybe just you've already ended this video and you're looking at buying the book or looking at Ryan Holiday, which is great. Either way, I've helped. So, to do great things, we need to be able to endure tragedy and setbacks. We've got to love what we do and all that it entails, good and bad. We have to learn to find joy in every single thing that happens. The next step after we discard our expectations and accept what happens to us after understanding that certain things, particularly bad things, are outside our control is this: loving whatever happens to us and facing it with unfailing cheerfulness. It is the act of turning what we must do into what we get to do. This is what I have got to put up with. Well, I might as well be happy about it. So many people, I think, we don't like our jobs and we don't like certain things that we have to do. And I understand, I'm not saying there isn't some merit to that, but sometimes we forget, you know, like if you've ever been unemployed and then you found work, you know, after a period of time you might be unhappy with your work, but you get to work. You know, you get to work. Some people don't even get the chance to work. You know, and I feel like if you gave some people the chance to work, not all people, because I know some people don't want to, and they're stuck in like a hedonistic cycle, but think about that, you get to work. Anyway, I'll continue with these. Your obstacle may not be so serious or violent, but they are nevertheless significant and outside your control. They warrant only one response: a smile. Learning not to kick and scream about matters we can't control is one thing. Indifference and acceptance are certainly better than disappointment or rage. The goal is, guys, not I'm okay with this, not I think I feel good about this, but I feel great about it, because if it happened, then it was meant to happen, and I am glad that it did when it did. I am meant to make the best of it and proceed to do exactly that. We don't get to choose what happens to us, but we can always choose how we feel about it. And why on earth would you choose to feel anything but good? We can choose to render a good amount of ourselves. If the event must occur, Amor Fati, a love of fate, is the response. Don't waste a second looking back at your expectations. Face forward and face it with a smug little grin. You love it because it's fuel. And you don't just want fuel, you need it. You can't go anywhere without it. No one or no thing can. So you're grateful for it. That is not to say that the good will always outweigh the bad, or that it comes free and without cost. But there is always some good, even if only barely perceptible at first, contained within the bad. And we can find it and be cheerful because of it. Now I want to end this video with, when I just ended that then saying there's good within the bad. I remember playing basketball when I was very young to quite a high level. I captained my local town and I played for my county, and I also went and played in America a little bit, and I played to a very good level. For my age, I was a decent basketball player. I was definitely not professional, but I was decent for a youngster, shall we say. And I damaged my back. I don't know how I did it. I don't know if I slipped a disc or if I pulled a muscle, but I damaged my back to the point of where I could barely bend. From standing up straight, I could barely bend forward more than 5 degrees. You know, like there was no bending down and touching my knees. I could barely bend more than 5 degrees forward. And it plagued me for probably 6 months to a year, and it depressed me heavily, and it was also physically debilitating. It was a depressing period of my life that I almost take for granted sometimes. And because of that, I ended up figuring out ways that I could try and solve this. I went to the gym, and I met a man who said, right, we're going to lift weights and we're going to strengthen your back. So instead of avoiding movements that would, strengthen my back, this man said, no, we're going to lift weights. We are going to deadlift and do hyperextensions. We are going to intentionally put as much stress on your back as possible. And I went from not being able to bend over to lifting, I think, 420 pounds off the floor. Which I know, if anybody knows anything about weightlifting or powerlifting, is not a super impressive amount of weight, but it's not a small amount of weight. I think it's 185, 190 kilos. So I went from not being able to bend over to pulling nearly a fifth of a ton off the floor. So again, guys, love what happens to you. Because if I'd never had a bad back, I never would have realised how strong I could get and how much fitter I could get. So I'll end this with Amor Fati. Be well, guys.